Welcome again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. We are now at episode number 50. Solid. Solid number 50. Siyempre, ang topic natin ngayon. Ang topic natin ngayon is Fortune Beyond COVID-19. Siyempre, my name is Ken Somera and ang main host natin si Cristina Reclamado. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Ken. So it's a Saturday evening once again for us. Okay, episode number 50. And this week we just reached we've reached 4,000 members already. I think it's 4,040 something. So yeah, big time na tayo. So big time din ang ating topic. Okay, fortune beyond COVID-19. Huh. Okay, so we have our guest, okay, Mr. Rob Rubin. Okay, so he's the foremost Philippine tarot authority. Hi, Rob. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Yes, and we have Miss Vivian Cruz. Okay, she's our trainer in CPHR, and she will be also be one of the speakers in the HR Skills 2020 clinic. Okay, so hi, Vivian. How are you?
Good, good. Hi. Thank you for guesting me, Chris. Hi, Rob.
Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
good evening.
Okay, so we'll start our question, okay, Rob. Okay, so Rob, ano ang pinaka-popular na tinatanong sa'yo ng mga clients mo in terms of tarot reading?
It always boils down to one of two topics. It's usually either career or love life. Okay. 99.9% of the time, when somebody comes to me for a reading, they're asking questions about their career, they're asking about their love life. All right. Every now and then, I get surprised with a really deep existential question, and I love those kind of questions. But the basics is: does he love me? Am I going to end up with someone? Or how does my job look? Am I going to get a promotion? And I love answering those questions because instead of telling people how things are going to turn out, I show them what their options are, so it's more empowering to them.
Yeah, options, okay.
Yeah.
So, ito, Rob, okay, I'm just curious, okay. So, love life, ano yan? You talk about compatibility? What exactly do you talk about?
Well, you see, when I read for a person, one of the things that I do at the beginning is I tell them I don't want to know anything going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if I were to read for you right now, I wouldn't want you to tell me anything. I don't know. I wouldn't want to know if you're married, single, taken, widowed, gay, straight, whatever. Why? Because if you share anything to me and it comes out, then you'll say, "Bola ka, I told you that kanina." But if you said nothing and it comes out, then be like, well, how the hell did he know that, diba? So basically, I tell them if they have a specific, really clear concern of what they want to know, like, okay, me and my husband are planning on splitting up. Is this a good idea? Then, okay, we could focus on that. But if we were to follow my regular protocol, I would probably say, don't tell me anything. Let's look at love life as a whole, and let's see how you're doing there based upon the cards. And if there are problems, they usually pop up based upon the cards drawn.
Love life. Okay, madaming ganyan ngayon, okay? Because, people now are limited when it comes to dating. But we'll go back to that, okay? See Vivian. Okay, hi, Vivian.
Hi.
So, ikaw naman, what are questions that are being asked from you by your clients?
So normally it's really about, if you talk about people, it's finding the right talents for their organization naman. It's always like, tama ba yung mga tao namin in our leadership team, you know? So are they the right people who joined us? Can they work with us? So it's really more about the talent fit as well, no? So basically, it's now more about naman, parang si Rob, no? They're parang asking me or kind of like asking for my advice, whether how I assess their talents fitting in or would be able to deliver to their, to sa mga business deliverables nila. Okay, and sometimes, they're asking me about it on my first day of meeting with the talent.
Yeah, we're not giving you some facts. Okay, so is this the right person for the job? Parang
Yes.
ganon. Okay. So Rob, with ito, with things going on, okay, so because that's the reason why we wanted to have this episode, okay. So sabi nila, it's so hard. We asked before, okay, how do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Okay, so that's a common question in interviews, okay. But how do you see things going in the next 2 years?
For who? For myself or for the
or
world?
for in general, like given the energy, given what you read sa social media.
It
So what talaga bang it's difficult to see some light?
actually, on the contrary, no.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to look at the zeitgeist, and I was telling Ken about this a couple of weeks ago. I actually wrote a book during the COVID era because I
Mm.
realized something that on an unconscious level, the world manifested this to happen. Why? Kind of sounds macabre, but think about it. Before this pandemic happened, people were overdoing their lives. Okay, they were living lives of quantity and not of quality.
Mhm.
Everybody around the world was collectively exhausted. Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a businessman, people were overdoing things. You understand? And if you ask anybody, you could have it from the barista to the trainer to the tarot
Mm-hmm.
reader, they would all tell you, I would just like to have some time off. I'd like to relax. Imagine a global collective desire to have that. The only way that could have happened could have been through the circumstances that occurred. So now everybody is forced to slow down,
Slow
to
down
live,
and
and to live within their energetic means.
mm-hmm.
Okay, to focus on what is important. Okay, what is really important to you. Now I know there are people out there who are poor, starving, and we have our honorable frontliners who are giving their lives. But the truth is, for other people, the focus of life has gone from quantity to quality now. So in the next couple of years, I actually see a life that people are going to be saying, hey, wait a minute. I was fooled before COVID about a life where I have to be on the go all the time. I can actually enjoy my life. I can do what gives me purpose, what gives me happiness, and I can fit it into my life. I see that society, the way we work, is going to change fundamentally as a whole. Because the companies that survive this crisis, how are you going to justify to your workforce, okay, guys, it's over. You got to come back? The workforce is going to say, but we've been doing it for months. Why do we need to go back to the office, diba? So
Oh.
it's an evolution of how we live to give more time and focus to what matters and to live within our means. So I actually think that this is going to be something that's going to bring out the best in all of us if we survive it. Okay, if we survive it, that's the most important thing.
Well, I think that we'll survive it. It's just a matter of, well, it's not toxic positivity. It's just that we have no choice but to
Mhm.
do something and survive it. Pero
What I
ito
mean by
si
survive it is if you catch COVID and die, you don't survive it.
hindi,
Okay.
mamatay ka
Yeah,
talaga nun.
exactly. Exactly. So, and it is no laughing matter, but I
Oo.
mean, it's like even some people are saying that the next pandemic after COVID is going to be the mental health pandemic, diba?
Yeah, that kasi people are going, well, like right now, we see like a lot of businesses, even the biggest ones, folding up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so syempre, people with, you're faced with uncertainty, so you become anxious and then, you have sleepless nights. Okay, we go through all that. Okay, I even go through that because we have to manage our own business.
Mm-hmm. But
Mm.
that being said, I actually see it's a changing of perspective in people's lives. You're
Yes.
focusing on things that matter to you more, like one woman who I have the highest respect for. I'll just call her Ate C. She is an amazing, amazing makeup artist, and she's
Mhm.
amazing at advertising. And she's always on the go. She's good at branding, amazing at what she does. But one of the blessings during this pandemic was she discovered her passion to bake. And her baking goods are epic. Not good, not great, epic. And I was telling her, I think after this pandemic is done, malamang there'll be more money waiting for you as a baker, which you like to do, than anything you did previously.
Well, Rob, after this podcast, you have to tell me who that person is so I
Of
can
course, I'll
order
give you
from.
their link. I'll give you their link.
Okay. So, Vivian, ikaw. Okay, so right now, okay. So, before, well, prior the season, okay. I'd like to call it the season because I know it's going to end, okay. Um, People were obsessed with what promotions, okay, and then all those like performance, increases on the basic salary, and then job descriptions, etc. So ito, what has changed in terms of people and compensation and managing them? What has changed?
Big change first is the perspective of the employer as well, no? So while employer prior to this season has been more focused about business delivery, people needs to perform, people needs to deliver on targets. No, the season help employers look into a different perspective as well. So they are more keen about employee welfare. They're more keen about what works for us. No, and in economics right now, no, so we are what we call we're experiencing what we call a structural break. So a structural break in economics is a data point, no, or a time series wherein the old ways of doing things, okay, will not be effective anymore because there's a lot of variability or changes that we need to factor in. So therefore, the old norm may not work. So this gives way to a new way of doing things. So now, again, as what Rob have said, no, after this season, we will now be asking ourselves, then do we really have to go back again to work if we've been very productive in working from home? So this gives birth to a total change of perspective in the way we see work. Okay, before the way we see work, everybody should be in the office doing
Mhm.
face-to-face interaction. Okay, that's our way of communicating. Now communication is done differently, but still we're delivering the output. So the in terms of compensation, okay, now it's not a matter of how much percentage of increase I will be giving to this person or not, no. But what I'm seeing now as trend is that it's really more geared towards benefit, towards employee health and welfare. We've talked about mental health, no, and we know it. Dole have come out with a mental health policy. It was done prior to the season, but nobody is taking action on it. But now, companies really are devoting time and effort about mental health, institutionalizing mental health programs in this season. Okay, so you would see now that employers are more geared towards employee welfare, trying to balance it, okay, with productivity. Okay, they are more lenient in terms of balancing work and life. Like when you're doing work from home, you can still attend to your children, no. So it changes the dynamics of how work is performed. Therefore it will also change the dynamics on how we pay for work. I will not be surprised, no, if there will be changes in terms of, rather than work per day, it will now be work per project or per
Mhm.
output that would now be taken into account. So right now, no, I have a company that I am engaged with. We're not just talking about performance now. We're talking also about potential of people, no,
Mm-hmm.
to adapt to the changes, not just for this season, but like what I always tell, right now we have two things that we need to look out for our talents: their capability to be resilient, no, and their capability to be agile.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's now how what makes us, the workforce, sabi nga natin, cope and thrive, no, and so does the organization. So if you notice, a lot of big organizations fold up, as you've said, because that's their way of coping. Okay,
Well, either they folded up or they're temporarily closed just to, stretch, okay, stretch the budget.
trying to reduce, they reduce the business exposure. It's a natural reaction because organizations need to step back, okay, and to look things in a different perspective and be able to come up with a new strategy to make it, to be able to survive, cope, and then thrive and win this season, no? But as like what I've told you nga a while ago, Filipinos are very resilient. As
Mhm.
what Rabab said, this has been a good opportunity for us to discover ourselves better. What else can we do, no? What else can we do? And that's also true for organizations. So eventually there's some hiccups, yes, but we're seeing that the sooner organization or companies are able to understand, what the, I don't want to say the new norm, but what would be the winning formula, okay? So it would be, we would be able to bounce back immediately, and again, in terms of compensation, it's now really more about your competencies now that will now be assessed, no? What can you bring on the table, and what um personality do you have, that would now be looked into by the companies. Okay,
So it's
so
about uniqueness also and specialization. But I'll go back to Rob. So Rob has a very unique career. Okay. So
Mhm.
Rob, how did you discover that you had the gift?
I was really young when I first had my manifestations of intuitive gifts. I was actually 4 years old, And that was when I first saw a ghost in my life. I'll never forget it. It scared the pants off of me, but it's always been part and parcel of who I was. And then I realized later on that although I had my own professional aspirations, like I wanted to be a soldier, then I wanted to be a lawyer, this was my
Mhm.
passion. And one of the things that I tell people in manifestation is if you can find a way of earning well from your passion, then you're already in heaven because
Mhm.
you're not working, you're living, and you're getting paid for it. So I realized I tried the whole 9 to 5 work, and this is what helped me discover this that the whole 9 to 5 thing didn't really work for me because I was miserable. I was really miserable because let's be totally honest. The 9 to 5 way of doing things is outgoing. This was effective last generation. This one, it doesn't make sense. Why will I be stuck in a place when my job can be done in 1 hour? You understand?
Mhm.
I want to have a
Mhm.
life too. I want to go to the gym. I want to attend jujitsu. I don't want to just be stuck here. So basically, when my office closed, I went full force with my passion. And
Mhm.
since then, although it's also had its hiccups and it's had its trials, at least I can say I love what I'm doing. I love teaching people how to develop their intuition. I love giving tarot readings. I love teaching people how to read the tarot. And I love being a positive influence on other people's lives. So since then, that's just been my calling. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Yes, actually, I admire people kasi, who actually, well, they're brave enough to follow their calling.
Mhm.
Okay, ako kasi, I've been a frustrated artist.
Mhm.
So, yon. So now because of this break, I'm able to get some students and I'm also teaching them about art. Okay, so I'm teaching HR, I'm teaching art. So that's what happened to me. So it's the pandemic wasn't really 100% bad for me. Okay. How about wow moments in your career? Were you able to read for celebrities? Or
Several.
what were the most memorable readings that you had?
Well, of course, probably the most memorable would be my wife because I read for her before we got married. I never knew we were going to end up together, and we ended up together. I have read for public leaders. I have read for my. I remember one time I told my wife that, you mark my word, I'm going to read the tarot for my MMA idol, Frank Mir. And she was like,
Mm,
that's never going to happen. And lo and behold, I sent her a message from Las Vegas and I was reading the tarot for him. So I've read for a lot of people, but it's not really about who I've read for that matters. It's about the impact I have with the reading. In other words, I want to give what I call my clients a positive tarot experience. You see, so many people have had experiences in the past where they've gone to tarot readers and they leave shaking their heads. They leave feeling disempowered, dejected, horrible, like somebody told them they're gonna die. Ako, when I read for people, I would rather give people peace of mind, clarity, and hope. If I empower you, I've done my job. And that's been my driving force since then. So I don't mind reading for another million people throughout my life as long as I bring value to them. Okay.
mm.
So that's pretty much the most relevant I've ever had.
Well, that's actually that's a stereotype of tarot readers kasi the ones that you see in the movies, like
Mhm.
they tell you the bad news, okay, like mamamatay si ganyan, or you're going to have this problem, etc. But that's a stereotype. So I'm glad that there's a different it's a fresher take on tarot reading. How about Miss Vivian? So you went, kasi I'm impressed with your credentials. Okay, so Miss Vivian is actually our facilitator in the CPHR batch 8. I batch 7. Okay, so how did you discover that HR was your calling?
Actually, I'm an HR practitioner by accident because
Mm-hmm.
I'm an accountant by profession. Okay, but I don't see myself looking into the computer and numbers all day long. And so I was given the opportunity to be part of HR, but doing payroll. Okay, because
Mm.
it's related to accounting, related to numbers. And that's where I develop have been talking to the employees, explaining to them, etc. And then my boss told me that, I think you're better off in HR. Okay, and then somehow he sold me the idea about what HR role would be. And then, okay, parang, sige, if you are 21 years old, diba, what would you say? Okay, let's try it, no? So I moved there. But I told them I don't know anything about HR. I don't know what the work is all about. So they told me, okay, so we will train you, we will mentor you. Probably it's good that I have good mentors in my HR career. So I've learned so much from them. And while talking to people, you already have developed, what type of leader or person you want to be. And since the day I joined HR, it's never been a boring day for me. It's
It's
always
never boring in HR.
boring. There's always something new that you would learn. Even until now, you're still learning, even though when you're doing your facilitation, you learn a lot from your participants. So, and then when I assume a leadership role in HR, so that's now I come into a realization that, hey, what do I want to be as an HR leader? Okay, and I always have this mantra that our role in HR is to bridge, right? We are a bridge in the organization, but we're also the conscience, okay, of the leadership team. But at the same time, you know what? My mantra is that for as long as there was a positive change that you've seen in an employee from the day he joined you, okay, and the day he left you, that's already you're like, you did well as an HR practitioner. Not everyone would be promoted because not everyone would like to be promoted. And then there's also small room for promotions or horizontal or lateral or vertical movement. But when you see your employee came to you, no, with only limited skills and then left you because they found a new job, which would mean better pay for them, okay, better position for them, don't be sorry, be proud because you're able to develop them. So I think that's the legacy that I would like to have, as an HR leader. And I discovered the passion for would I say facilitation, okay, because for me it's now time to pay forward to the profession. So I would like to kind of like if I could say, like, build more competent HR practitioners. We have so many good HR practitioners, and probably I've been one of those lucky HR practitioner who was exposed to Asia, okay, and to US and Europe as well. And I would say, like, the Filipino HR professionals are very good. The way we think, the way we approach HR strategies, and the way, one thing that is that cannot be taught is the way we communicate and interact with our employees and how we make sure that
Empathically.
yeah, I think that those are Filipino traits and attributes, no, okay, that we should be proud of. So I think that's where I realized that, hey, I think I'm in the right profession. So buti na lang, no, I shift career at an early age, at the age of 21.
Well, HR is a broad discipline, and it's not really a specific course being, fit for that work. Okay, it's actually a lot of. I see a lot of HRs. I am a mass comm graduate, so I'm in HR. Okay, and I think Ken would be also good for HR. Hi, Ken, you're back.
Welcome back, Ken.
Yeah.
Good,
Oo.
good, good mang asar ng tao. Dalawa lang. Yeah,
Desi Ken, ano yan, I think he's very effective as a coach for millennials. Okay, so, oo, oo. Madami kayong matututunan kay Ken.
At
having
saka,
fun. Yeah.
HR uses a lot of intuition as well. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about intuition. So, I'll just go back to Rob. So,
Mhm.
Rob, okay, so your job, okay, you're using intuitive skills, okay?
Mhm.
So, how is it? Okay, so intuition versus fact-based decision making. What can you say about people who always rely on data to make decisions?
Well, they could make the wrong ones, and I can illustrate that perfectly. Let's say, for example, Christina, you're single. Okay,
Mhm.
let's say you're single, and I use factual data to statistically introduce you to the perfect guy. As in, he passed all the tests, he passed all the equations, the examinations, he's into what you're into. So, scientifically, he should be your perfect guy.
Mhm.
So on paper, it's perfect. But if
Yes.
you're not feeling it when you meet this guy, are you going to go out with this guy? Of course not. Versus you could meet somebody like me who is 20% what you're looking for in a guy, but there's this feeling in you that's like, you know what? I like him. Let's give this a try. I don't know why. I'm more compelled to liking this. That's a very good example of the difference between an intuitive guess or an intuitive decision and a logical one. I'm not saying you should follow intuition on everything, but at the end
Yes.
of the day, it's your gut. It's your gut feel. Like example with Vivian, we can apply this in HR where two candidates are applying for a job. One is a perfect resume. One is not so perfect, pero you feel that, wait a minute, I'm not feeling it with the perfect person, person with the perfect resume. You will always follow that inner gut. You will always follow that inner choice. That's just intuition unleashed. Now, one of the things that we do in our program is we actually encourage our students to learn how to develop this, how to polish it, how to apply it in an everyday life. Para
Mhm.
at least you can use it to your own advantage.
Yes. Because I've like encountered a lot of people. They're perfect, good resumes. Okay,
Mhm.
high test scores. Okay, and then after 3 months, they fail
Mhm.
performance appraisal. Diba, Bibian? Yan ang nangyayari. Maybe culture fit. Yes.
Actually, Chris, no, culture fit is similar to intuition, di ba? Just to bank on what Rob have said, sometimes you meet two candidates, okay? Then you would feel like this one, you feel better even though the other candidate have the perfect resume or the perfect interview. And you know what? It's because you felt that the other guy would be more culturally fit to your organization. But you're not so sure about it. It's your intuition that's telling you that based on the interview, based on the way you converse with the guy or with the candidate, that he would be the perfect guy. Remember, I always tell the best candidate may not be the best talent may not be the best talent for you because you always because in HR, diba, it's all in HR. There's a lot of times that you're
Factors.
using, diba. So if you look at the data, try to understand the data, but in the end, you always match it with your guts as well to tell you
It's
that
a holistic thing, okay? Like there's data and then you verify it, ask questions, and then I don't know, like something parang may light bulb na okay, I'll go this
yeah,
path.
when I do interview, I just don't base it with the resume. Eh. I always try to, to meet the person, talk to the person, because that's where I would feel like, okay, the person understand or meets the requirements of the business. Because if you just look at the resume, there's some items that you don't see, eh, okay, the person itself. Okay, so of course there are some people who are very good in presenting themselves. Which is why we need to look deeper. Okay, we need to ask more questions to understand them more deeply because it's not just about the technical skills. Eh. If you're a recruiter or an HR professional, and if you just look at the technical competencies of the candidate, then most of the time these are the candidates that do not s- succeed, no, in your organization. That's
Mhm.
why is it
Well, we're talking about kasi it's like yung tawag nila resilience, grit, diba? And persistence, mga ganon. So there are factors. But let's go to Ken. Okay, so Ken is exposed to a lot of people. Okay, so Ken, how do you know what's the right thing to say to your students or to people that you coach?
Well, syempre, kilalang kilala na rin ako ni Rob. It's more of, ang daming factors eh. I mean, I could work with experience, I've practiced running most of the questions in my head. So
mm-hmm.
parang before I go to go to a meeting, I get to research already the person that I'm talking with. So, meaning I get to also listen to what words they use. So when I get to talk to someone, I use their words. It will always fit them because that's their reality. The words that I'm using are their words, so it always slides in. So sometimes there's this for example ngayon, this is a random question that you're asking me. Pero I've trained myself to actually play in circles until I reach my point. It's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Pero talking to a lot of intuitives in our communities, I also learned na parang meron tinatawag silang channeling or zone. I'm not really familiar with it, pero um this is coming from a lot of experiences, not just from my experience, but also experiences from other people. So I use what I've seen, what
Mhm.
I've heard, and what I've felt, and fit it in certain conversations and situations. Yun lang.
Well,
Sometimes it just comes out. Eh. Just sounds perfect.
well, yeah, because actually, I understand what you're trying to explain. It's really just it's like being able to process what the person is saying, and then maybe there's that thing that goes on in your head, and gut feels that makes you like, for example, when I've been a termination person for a long time, and when I investigate, when I do my admin hearings, a lot of people have been asking me, how do I know that that person is telling the truth or not? It's just a series of steps that I do, and it's the reaction of the person. And after that, I would know if the person would be sincere or telling the truth. I cannot explain it, but most probably it's like around 80 or 90% correct. Okay, it's a guess. Okay, it's a feeling. Okay, so how I that's how I can describe that. Okay, so and then I make my recommendations to management after that hearing. Anyway, let's go back. Okay, Ken, you've spoken to a lot of students and people that you coach. So any memorable student?
Marami.
Uh,
And specifically, memorable in what way?
anything like surprised you, scared you?
Surprising yung mga yung mga kasi there are lots of people who have troubles with their relationships. Agree ako dun kay Rob Rubin. I mean, there are lots of people that consult with coaches and other people because they like feel that there's something lacking, 'di ba?
Okay, so
So,
let's talk about this yung connecting. Okay, si
mm,
Rob, that's what he also teaches his students. So how do you make a connection these days if you're a single person trying to attract uh, the one?
sige, ito, may fast answer lang, no? Ang fast answer dito is we're all online right now.
Uh,
So there's a question. There are some people that are not still open to the concept of online dating. 'Di ba? They're still looking for reto. Gusto nila ipakakilala nila, gusto nila friends muna. 'Di ba?
uh,
That's perfectly fine. We all have our own preferences, right? Pero if you have to actually go to accept this is the new norm right now. People are looking for love and they are open to the opportunity of going to online dating. So when you go to online dating, ang pinaka-importante dyan is your picture. Most of the time, even if you have a very good personality and you put very good profiles there, yung mga sinusulat mo doon, pero yung picture mo, wala. Hindi ganun ka-appealing, hindi ganun ka
mm.
ano. They will not swipe right. Right? So, ang isa sa mga important factors na nakikita ko, take a good picture. There are instructionals online. TikTok meron sa YouTube, how to have an appealing profile picture. So, when you post that profile picture with good energy, kasama ka pa ng aso mo, bahala ka sa buhay mo. Pero, good energy is good. Okay? Tapos, mas madami ka magiging swipe right. And
But
when you
ganun din
have,
naman sa recruitment, 'di ba, Miss Vivian? Kung dark, kung oily ka dun sa picture mo, hindi mag sorry, oily. So,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
may factor yan. So for our friends that are like looking into these dating apps, again, the first factor bago mo makausap yung tao is if they swipe right. Okay, so wala kang makakausap pag hindi naman sila nag-swipe right. So
Mhm.
the goal
So
is for
anyway,
them to
Ken,
swipe right. Yeah.
do you have questions from our audience?
Sige, wala pa naman. Pero I'm really interested with how Rob does the tarot. Kasi
Yeah.
I'm an avid fan. I check him out every Thursday. He does tarot Thursdays and he just reads for to thousands of people. Then, ang daming tao dun. Excited, exciting.
So, Rob, how can you read for us?
Well, it depends on what you want to know. I mean, I have a deck ready. if you want to either,
Ito
I
na
cannot.
lang, si Vivian na lang. Oh,
All
kasi
right,
si
sige.
Vivian, she's very interested. That's why she's here.
All right, so let me explain how we'll do this. I'll draw three cards which represent the past, present, and potential future of Vivian. Now, it's important to keep in mind that one of the most important things to always remember with when having a tarot reading is that no reading is ever set in stone. Ever. I don't care who you are. You could be me, you could be Madam Auring, whoever. No reading that anybody will ever give you is set in stone. Okay? What we show you is trajectory, probability, cause, and effect. But at the end of the day, the decisions are completely up to you. So let's start off with the past for Vivian. And we have the card, the Knight of Wands, meaning that you're rather frustrated because your heart belongs elsewhere. What do I mean by that? You don't want to be where you are. You've had dreams since before that you want to be abroad, but you feel stuck. Okay? So your end goal for yourself is to have a very nice office somewhere in Manhattan. Because recently, okay, I'll be honest, you're getting paid rather well for what you did, what you're doing. Congratulations. But it never was and never will be just about the money to you. There has to be something more. Okay, there has to be something more. And unless you find that, even if you're getting paid seven digits in your job, you're not going to last because you're going to look for that internal fulfillment that's going to bring you to the next level. Because your future influences is this. I actually think that you're going to be taking some sort of side endeavor in your life, which is going to make you feel young again. Okay, it might be something as ludicrous as ballet, for all I care. But and I'm not saying ballet is ludicrous, but at a certain age they tell you you can't do that anymore. But whatever it is, um, it's just going to make you feel youthful. You're going to do it again. This is going to be your personal reward to yourself. Because, like I said during the reading, it never was and never will be about the money to you.
So, Vivian was quiet.
So I'm digesting it. Yes, actually, Rob is correct. It's not all about money.
Okay. So, anyway, okay, I actually, can I try,
So fire away.
Rob?
Yeah, sure. I'll do three cards for you. Same thing, starting with your past. And we have temperance reversed. Let's be totally honest. When my life turns to shit, you should be the first person I call. You thrive in chaotic scenarios in your life. In other words, you're the cleaner. Ever since before, kung may problema, call Cristina. Okay? It's simple as that. Because you know how to solve people's garbage. You know how to keep a level head. So you're good at crisis management. However, that can be somewhat toxic at times, but it doesn't mean that you're not good at it. Okay? Now, recently, you want to go back to learning as well, but you want to polish your saw. You want to be able to take a skill set that you're very passionate about and get better at it. And that's what you've probably been doing during this lockdown period, because your future influences shows to me this. You need to be able to detach your emotional connections from certain people because sometimes sobrang pagod ka na. In other words, people tend to drain the hell out of you because, like I said at the beginning of the reading, you're good at solving people's problems. So it's kind of like, in case of emergency, break glass and call Cristina. That gets tiring at times. So it's very important that you learn the value of boundaries because there's only one you. It's okay to say no to people.
Wow. Okay. So, I'm just going to just take it, savor it, okay, and then just
No
process
problem
it.
with that.
Ako, having being Christina's friend, I could agree with all that.
Okay. Anyway, so that was wonderful, Rob. Okay, so ito. Okay, ikaw naman. Okay, so do you like, because you have the gift, do you ever parang have this parang inclination to read yourself?
As much as I want to, I don't really get to because, as I tell my students, the greatest barber doesn't cut his own hair.
Mm.
Okay. I'm too attached to the things that I'm going to ask, and I usually need somebody objective to walk me through it. Like, think of it like this: as an HR practitioner for Vivian, she can HR an entire organization, but who's going to HR her?
Yeah.
Okay. In Ken's case, he could coach 100 people, but when it comes to Ken himself, he needs somebody to coach him. You understand? So there always has to be that check and balance. So unfortunately, I am not too adept at reading for myself, and I try not to because I end up just seeing bola. In other words, I see what I want to see and not what it actually is.
Okay. Okay. So okay, so this thing, okay, so there was a time that, oh well, every New Year or Chinese New Year, okay, is there such a thing as like it depends on your zodiac sign or etc.? Or is that like a really traditional or old age view of tarot reading?
Well, it's not necessarily tarot based. It's more astrological based more than
Mm-hmm,
anything
mm-hmm.
else. And everybody will have their own forecast based upon either their animal sign or their zodiac sign. So it's although it's similar to tarot, I don't think they're the same. It's kind of like saying the combination between apples and garlic. It's like okay, they're both grown from the ground, but they're not the same thing.
Uh-uh. Oh, kasi like there's like a lot of people who try to dabble
Hmm.
also in ano. But I respect also that kind of thought or discipline. Ayun. So anyway, so we'll go into like other stuff. Okay, so Vivian, things will be like for this period things are was dependent on data driven decision making. So you've said that okay, so there's a time, there's an art to like making people management decision, etc. But how about like those really that are related to payroll and accounting and business, mga business math? Okay, is there a way to merge intuition and data driven decision making?
Yes,
In your
actually,
career, was there any parang, would you cite examples from your experience?
yeah, actually, in HR na, no, so we're always saying that compensation is the most technical because it's the most data-driven, no? And right now, in this season, as you call it, we can use data in terms of how to move forward, okay, with regards to developing our people, with regards to paying our people. So it always work in terms of understanding, okay, the number of or how much our people cost is before the season, okay, and how much our people cost would be after the season. So it's always important to take note of that, okay, so that you would be able to plan properly. As like what I've told you, no, the people cost right now, when we talk about people cost, it's not just about the base pay, it's the entirety, of the or the value or the peso value of the spending we have in managing people. So now it's a time for us to reallocate, okay, how where are we going to put more eggs in our basket when you talk about people cost. And like what I've told you a while ago, it's now more into employee welfare. So our companies right now, our organization right now are providing more budget allocation, okay, in terms of welfare. So if you look at the compensation mix, no, so now you would not see organization giving salary increment. It's okay because of the season we are in, no. But if you will look at it, it's not because we didn't give you a pay raise. It does not necessarily mean we didn't spend for employees, because
And
we're
we
just
didn't, they don't appreciate what the employees are doing. It's just that we just have to be on this phase or be
correct.
this mode.
Yeah, but if you would look, no, it's being reallocated to a different basket. The cost of the PPE that we are spending for our employees not to catch up with the disease, the vitamin C that organizations are giving to us employees, it may be minimal to the way we see it, no, but its impact to the welfare of the employees, and even employees are feeling it right now. The small
Mm.
things matters to employees as well. So even the way employees think, no, it's not all about pay raise. It's now about, is my company taking care of me? So from a very extrinsic rewards component, employees now becomes more focused into intrinsic. How is my organization taking care of me as a person, as an individual? So I think that's now where, you need to factor in your intuition, because you need to
Mhm.
understand your demographics. So what is my employees? So that's where, it's very different to manage millennials, okay, and Gen X like us, no? So we have different motivating factors. So now it's now more about what makes sense. So you cannot just simply base it on data. You need
Mhm.
to understand their behavior. So now it's your data, and then the intuition will now comes in based on how you understand or how you know your employees. So that's now will affect your compensation mix or your
Yes.
compensation strategy.
So compensation mix is actually salary and then allowances,
Benefits,
incentives,
yeah.
and benefits. How about Ken? Okay, Ken. Okay, so what are you busy with right now? Are you doing some trainings as well?
Meron. Actually, I'm busy playing Fall Guys. Bago,
Ano yan?
bago siyang game sa Steam eh.
Game?
Kaya
Oo.
ito, I streamed it yesterday. Pero sa akin, I've been talking to some of my good friends kay Luigi and si Dr. Strix. I think we're gonna plan like a persuasion, manipulation masterclass. So masterclass siya. Pero it's still we're still gonna discuss on
So, but you've
how we
had
would
like
present.
projects with Rob. So, in the past, what were your
Oo,
projects together, Rob? Yeah.
kaklase ko yan si Rob. Klase ko si Rob eh.
Because I've seen you like do
Hypnotherapy.
Inside the Mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I've had the honor of learning hypnotherapy alongside Ken and his group,
Mm,
and of course, I have a lot of respect for the things that they do.
Mhm.
It's basically when it comes to NLP and those topics, I pass the ball to them. They've even been guests on my show, which was amazing, which I would like to have them on again in the future. So it's a good working relationship between us and them.
So you
yeah.
have a radio show.
Yes,
So,
I had it with V81 radio, but I kind of stopped it for the meantime because I don't really like doing shows online like this. I'd rather have it, face to face. So I put it
mhm.
on pause for the meantime.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been friends for how many years na rin, and our communities overlap. So anything that is siyempre kami nandun kami sa NLP and hypnotherapy. So we don't really delve with energy, spirituality, the occult. So any questions that come to our community, I get to have a good friend. I pass it to I pass it to Rob's community. So yeah, it's been yun yung namin relationship. We've been good friends, and I learn a lot from him. Kasi yun nga, from time to time I get to check his mga shows then, and ask questions then. Like what we did earlier.
Okay. So that's what I've been, telling si Vivian. Okay. So how are people surviving this season? So people are networking and, forging alliances, okay, with each other, merging businesses. So Rob, moving forward, what will be your advice to our viewers? Okay. So how do you survive better?
Well, it all begins with one thing. Do you think that this is going to get better, or have you already been defeated by this virus? Okay, because if you think that it's not going to get better, and you think that that's, if I may just say, that's why I hate this term, the new normal. This is
Mm,
not the new normal. This is the new temporary, because one way or the other, the virus will end. Either statistically, we will come up with a vaccine, or we will get herd mentality. But eventually, it will end. So for people say, no, this is it. This is the new normal. We can't see each other anymore. Then you're basically already declaring you've been defeated. Okay. So I tell people, believe that this will end and make good use of your time. Because right now, what people have a lot of is time. Believe it or not. Read those books. Write in your journal. Start your manuscript. Start painting. Dati, our biggest excuse was, I don't have time.
I'm too
Now,
busy.
I'm too busy. Now you've got the time. Okay? You want it that by the time that the virus ends, the pandemic ends, you would have been upgraded so many more levels than before it started. Okay? You will really see who made the most out of this time, this crisis. By did they become better? Did they become worse? Like for me, I knew that I had the potential in me to gain a ton of weight during lockdown.
Okay.
I just knew it. So I still,
Ah.
while everybody was going around chasing for food, I was buying weights because I
And
said,
you've been working out. I see
yes,
your pictures.
a lot. Because that's one of my therapy to myself. Because I mukhang Dragon Ball ako. I wanted it like at the end of it, si Vegeta ako. Because I want to know that I didn't allow myself to slack off. Okay? So as long as you're growing, as long as you make time, okay, then you will grow. Because if you're gonna tell me, but I have a job. Yes, you have a job, but guess what? You don't commute anymore.
Yes.
Okay? So
So
now you
that's
can
two
do it.
hours or 3 hours off the schedule.
Exactly. And a lot of people they have a very powerful what we call a no current. A no current is this. Like, oh, example, Cristina, so why are you single? Kasi nobody wants to date me. But what about my friend? He liked you. Nah, I don't really into. What about the other? Nah, I didn't really like him. In other words, you like to say no to yourself all the time.
Mm.
You have to find a way of saying yes. You understand? it becomes,
Yeah.
if I'm going to talk to
See,
Ken
I
about
just said yes.
yeah, it's kind of like a hypnotic pattern. The pattern of no becomes so automatic. It's they're immediately saying no. A friend of mine who's really good, a good friend of mine, I asked him, "So, are you dating that one girl?" "Nah, I don't like her. This and that." "What about this girl? Are you gonna date?" "No, I don't like her either. She's a lot of problems." "So, are you into girls at all?" "No, I'm not really into girls." Ang
I'm
gago
into
ka
guys.
talaga. Huli ka. I said, "Oh shit." Sorry, pardon my mouth. That showed how powerful this person's no current was. So after talking to him for like an hour, I realized that his passion was art. And I
Okay.
asked him time and time again, how hard would it be for you to do art? And he gave me a million reasons why he couldn't do art. A million. And I said, why don't you just shut up? Here's a ball pen, and I want you to draw something for me right now. And he gave me
Mhm.
another 500,000 reasons why he could not. I said, I'm not leaving, and neither are you until you start doing your art. Lo and behold, after all the reasons, he started doing his art. At the end of it, he had a piece of art, and I still have that piece of art. And I said, see, this was your no current. You did this, but you didn't allow yourself to do it. All you have to do is find a way. Kill that no current, and nothing can stop you. An
Yeah.
example of this, like some people say, exercise. Ah, but I'm always tired. When are you not tired? It's impossible that you're tired all the time. If you're a
Unless
lazy,
you have a condition, di
yeah, if
ba?
you have a condition, then
And go
please
to the
refer to
doctor.
Dr. Strix. He'll help you with that. But like, so I say I don't like to wake up early in the morning, then work out in the evening. Diba? Find a way or make one. Simple as that.
So, yan ang sinasabi nila, if there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
Oh, yun. So, yes, I like to, talk with, to just like tell people, mahirap kasi like people always like PM me, like, how do you do it, blah, blah, blah. Alam mo, I just deal with it. I'm not going to go into the details, but we've actually had a lot of, it's been a roller coaster for our business,
Mhm.
but we just have to like do what's necessary. Okay, and everything follows. Okay, so Vivian, so how about people who are nega at work?
Now, actually, I think people are more optimistic at this time, no? So because people are more appreciative, okay, of how others are treating them, no? So sabi ko nga say a while ago, di ba, a simple kumusta ka meant a lot now to people. Okay, meant a lot now to the employees. So unlike in the past that we kept on complaining on the things that we don't have. So
Mhm.
now we appreciate or become more appreciative on terms of what or how our peers support us in terms of the season, no? But in terms of the nega, you always just have to tell them, okay, this is a phase, no, and you just need to make them be more open to discuss about how they feel, okay, because sometimes they're affected with kasi sabi nga natin iba-iba tayo ng condition eh. Some are very affected financially, so that's where the complaint is coming from, and sometimes these people just need someone to listen to
Yeah.
them, no? So, kung wala man tayong maitulong kay sa company natin because we're also experiencing the same downturn, okay, it's really just a matter of listening to them, okay, and asking them what are the good things that had happened to you during the season. They try to find good, and then when they started to think of, oo nga no, I have more time with my kids. Now I can play with my apos. Now I can cook, and then you catch up on it, then that would be, they will feel enlightened, no? And they will feel good about it. So, hindi kasi natin maiiwasan eh because we react differently. Okay, because of our
Yes.
personalities. Okay, but listening to them, hear them out, and trying to, to check or make them see things in a different perspective as like what Rob have said, no, would uplift their spirits. And then sometimes kasi mas maganda din na you give them like your perspective, like this is a time for self discovery, what else can we do, 'di ba? Like for you, like the doodling, no, sabi ko nga sa'yo, my daughter learned how to bake online, by, so those are the things that they can learn, no, while we are on hiatus, no, if we cannot still go outside and work, okay, but this is also time to celebrate life, diba? Every day is a blessing right now, so that's also something that we need to be thankful for. So I think part of the trust again of the organization, if I may, no, this is always what I always tell the companies who consult me is this is the time for you to engage your employees better. So engagement now may not be costly kasi you don't need to run, don't need to run events. Okay, you don't need to manage events to engage them, but to make them feel that you are there, no?
Just
Okay,
maintain the
them
connection.
financially, the continuous connection helps them a lot. Okay.
Yun. So, what's aside from being in the HR skills clinic, okay, so what's new with you?
Okay, so of course, no, we still have our monthly online session for CPHR. So for Filipino professionals who would like to enhance or harness their capabilities, okay, and would like to get licensure, so they can reach out to CPHR. So in the Philippines, it's being sponsored by Circological Group.
Actually, I got mine today. It
Yes,
was mailed.
congratulations. Okay. So yeah, we've been doing an online training 2 days a month. So I think our August session is already full. So but I think September is almost full. So I hope you can catch up with that. And then of course a week after is I would be having my own coaching session. So these are for HR professionals, for managers, for supervisors who would like to be more adept in coaching, because I think leaders need it right now in this season, how to keep their employees more motivated. So, but it's more structured. There's a structured approach we are following, okay, being
Mhm,
a certified coach. And
mhm.
of course, the HR Skills Clinic. Okay, I will be hosting 2 sessions, or I will be facilitating 2 sessions in September. So focusing about compensation. So, and I hope we can see you there, we can meet you there. Okay, because those learning sessions, no, again, that one thing that is good about this season now. Okay, online learning is cheaper compared to the face-to-face learning, and I think we still get a lot of insights coming from the facilitators, no, and coming from the attendees as well. So even for us HR professionals, this is a good time to retool ourselves, okay, and to network, as what Chris have said. So this is the time for networking, expanding our horizon, meeting new people as well.
And partnering with fellow coaches.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, how about Rob? Okay, so what are we going to expect from you?
Well, basically speaking, Mysterium has always been and always start off as a community. And we are not an organization or learning institution that has a community. We are a community that has a learning arm to it. So
Mhm.
it's all about building bridges. It's all about developing relationships. And right now, we're just basically in, how do I say, in sustenance mode. So, in other words, we're going to sustain ourselves throughout the crisis to the best of our ability. We're going to
Mhm.
grow our community so that at least once the crisis is done, we'll
Mhm.
have somewhere where other people can go to. Because the one thing I really don't want is for Mysterium to fold because people
Mhm.
consider it their home. And
Mhm.
a lot of places have been closing left and right. We want to be one of the few people who weather that storm. Because at the end of the day, it's a place people belong to, where people feel that they're accepted, they feel safe. And at the end of the day, if we can reach new people, if we can allow new people to learn with us and to continue to grow our brand, then who knows? Maybe in the future we could have more face-to-face things in different parts of the country or maybe even different parts of the world.
Yes. And if they're interested in having a tarot reading, they can connect with
Of
you.
course, yes, they can contact us on my fan page.
Okay. And how about Ken? So, ano nang pinagkakaabalahan mo, Ken?
Ito,
Lagi tayo nag-uusap, pero
ang daming, recently I've been really stumped with a lot of meetings ngayon, puro Zoom,
Mhm.
coaching. Pero, again, Strix and Luigi were quite planning into doing like a persuasion, going deeper with persuasion, not just the light stuff, okay? We want to also focus on the dark stuff. So, ano lang, talagang diretsuhan lang, parang no holds barred. There, because there's a niche. Eh. What
Mm.
what we saw is like there's no one teaching how to actually manipulate people.
Mhm.
So parang sa akin, oo nga na, that's a niche. Tapos sige, tara, sige, game, gawin natin. So yun lang, yun lang. Still having fun learning and connecting with good friends. Yun lang.
Yes. Well, actually, you're never boring and your group's never boring.
Salamat, salamat. Yeah. Join,
Okay.
connect with Rob Rubin's group then. It's very
Oo.
enlightening. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. So anyway, we have some greetings here, Ken. So
Yeah.
JP
Oh.
Baroma. So Miss Vivian, he's greeting you. Okay, hi daw.
Hi, JP.
Yeah, si
Uh,
ano dun, Sherry Diaz, Sherry Madonna Diaz. Hi, Miss Viv, sabi kanina. Yeah.
Okay, so you can catch the schedule on the HR Skills Clinic. I've posted it on our page. Okay, so I'm just like one by one answering inquiries. Okay, and don't worry, guys. By Monday, you'll get your digital brochure. Okay, and also, I've been also trying to branch out. I have my art therapy classes, so you can get in touch with me. Yeah, so everything is there's like a lot of evolution and changes. Okay, so and anyway, if you have like your HR questions, you can continue to PM the moderators and admins of HR Shouts.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you've got even Ken. Okay, Ken already
Oo,
knows the
message lang
basics.
kayo. Message lang kayo. I'd be glad kung di ko alam yung sagot, of course, I'd be glad to connect you to people who knows the answer. Yun lang
uh,
naman.
Okay. So anyway, that's been our discussion this evening. And if you have more questions, you can connect to our guests or you can post your questions in the comments section.
Oh,
So
yeah.
until then, okay. Bye guys. Okay, let's
Salamat,
have a
salamat.
restful
Bye,
night.
Vivian. Bye, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye.